I tell people all the time, it's easy for me as the mayor of the city of Houston to fix a pothole on the street. It is much more difficult to address the pothole in people's lives who are living on our streets.
This is Tent City. I'm underneath Interstate 59 in downtown Houston, and it is 90 degrees out here. I'm surrounded by individuals and their families desperately trying to fight the elements outside. Tackling homelessness is at the top of Mayor Sylvester Turner's agenda. In his own words, every Houstonian counts, and every Houstonian deserves opportunity.
It's not just about providing a housing, a unit, a place, putting a roof over their head. It's about meeting their holistic needs.
Not only has the recent increase in the homeless population made it more difficult to find housing, but these individuals also struggle with mental illness.
There are several different abnormalities that they're having to deal with. So you have to provide what we call permanent supportive housing. Housing plus the wraparound services that they need. So the more people that we can have out there on the front line who genuinely care about meeting the needs, then the more that we can transition from the streets to a much better place in their lives.
So let's make sure to provide support for those nonprofit organizations that work so hard to help the less fortunate. I'm Simoné Simpson in downtown Houston. You've gotten to the last pill in your prescription, so you go to refill it at your local pharmacy, but there's a problem. The pharmacist refuses to fill it. How and why are pharmacists able to do that? Nicole Arteaga, an Arizona resident, experienced this and shared her story on a Facebook post that went viral. 2 months into her pregnancy, Arteaga learned that her baby no longer had a heartbeat. Her doctor gave her two options, a DNC or prescription medication. Arteaga chose a prescription, which was denied at Walgreens, where she says she stood at the mercy of the pharmacist, explaining her situation in front of her 7-year-old son and 5 customers standing behind. What the pharmacist failed to realize is that the termination of her baby was not what she wanted. After leaving Walgreens without her prescription, Arteaga received an email stating that her prescription was ready, but at another location across town. She called Walgreens' corporate office and filed a complaint to the Arizona Board of Pharmacy. Some people wondered if a similar situation can happen in Texas. And the answer is yes, it can. According to the Dallas Morning News, a change to the Texas Pharmacy Act gives pharmacists exclusive authority to determine whether or not to dispense a drug, and they don't have to explain why. The original intent of House Bill 2561 was to make it easier for pharmacists to refuse service to those abusing painkillers. But after an amendment to the bill by Representative Matt Cross of Fort Worth, this allowed them to refuse to fill prescriptions by their moral compass. Arteaga shared her story in hopes that other women don't have to go through similar situations just like she did. This puts a whole new meaning on receiving just what the doctor ordered. Back to you guys in the studio. Now what's shocking is that there are 3 schools within a quarter mile of one of the most dangerous intersections in Houston, which happens to be right here in Alief, and we just experienced an accident on the road.
Although Black History is celebrated throughout the month of February, its impact is not limited to just 28 days. Here is a spoken word piece performed by Great Day Houston's associate producer, Simoné Simpson, at the Ensemble Theater.
Our history, Black history, is not synonymous with simplicity. Our past has been complicated and debated, dating back when we were forcefully relocated. Civil rights leaders tackled the battles and laid down their lives. Sometimes when they called for help, it never arrived. They did not allow their liberty to rust. Equality is a must. From trees bearing strange fruit to hands up, don't shoot. We will not be silent or mute. There is this underlying notion that our race is less than, embedded into a place that I call home. But we do not live in a world that is monochrome. America was threaded on the myth that we were 3/5 of a person, sweeping that comb of ignorance through the hairs of civilization and passing it off as innocence or indifference won't work anymore. Our people refused to continue entering through the back door. We are not an ounce or a fraction of a human being. These men and women were trailblazers, disagreeing with the status quo. Brothers, sisters, it's time for us to take our place and face the unknown. Because to make history, we have to write our own.
You can watch an extended version of that performance and see more of our Black History Month stories by going to khou.com/ourstory.